In 2020, I started posting true crime stories on my YouTube channel from a flat in East London. A lot has changed since. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Maja Scepanovic and I am a raging homosexual. For you to come on this journey with me, we need to go back in time, exactly 2 years to this date, to December the 15th, 2021. This is why people don't take you seriously. For somebody who covers true crime, you're looking at it in this panel and you do not realize that this looks like a proof of life. I mean, essentially, it is a proof of life, because I plan to title this video, "Only Publish It If I Die." How are people gonna know to publish it if you are gonna private? Just remove this background. I'll be right back. And we're back. Here's to a video that will probably never go online. But as you could see, it is 15th of December. I'm about to record a podcast episode. And here is a video that will yet again probably never go online because I have nobody else to speak to this about. And also, I don't think I would, even if I could, because I'm a grown-ass person. I don't ask people for advice, and I know that I have to make this decision on my own. That explains why we're in this mess in the first place, isn't it? The school never taught us what sex is, grief, and how to question your own sexuality in time. In time. The emphasis on in time. So you want to do this the way you cover true crime and actually start from the beginning, give people a bit of a background about how you're in this predicament. Okay, now that is gonna make you sound super unhinged, but here's again nothing, a video that will not get published. You plan to title this "Only Publish This If I Die", and the premise is nobody is gonna have the link, right? Like to the unlisted, to the private video on YouTube. So you need to die in a violent way where the police is then gonna look for your accounts. You didn't plan this through properly. Somebody needs to have the link to this video, okay? So yeah, plan that part after recording this. Well, the background is, so ever since I was about 50, I want to say early teenage years, probably even earlier than that, when, you know, before Wattpad, when you would read and find erotica like online and stuff. Yeah, those years. I would, again, probably because of the rom-coms, probably because of the literature at the time, Nicholas Sparks was, I think that is the name, the guy behind The Notebook and all of those books. He was super popular back then. I was like, oh my god, these books are like true representation of love. Idiot. So every night I would go to sleep. I struggled with falling asleep. I like to say that, but the truth is that I just like to go into my fantasy world, into the La La Land, for a very long time. I don't actually struggle with falling asleep. I just like living a second life before I do. This means that from the early teenage years, I would close my eyes and I would imagine this whole ass world. And that went on for about 15 years. It's still going on. I'm like 29 right now. And it would always be a different plot. Like the men in those plots never had like names, really even personality traits. And of course, it would only always be the honeymoon period, the friends to lovers kind of period, where you'd meet up somebody, you'd start a romance with them, and then it will fizzle out and I would go on to another plot. It would make for a really great and depressing movie, but it is a movie that needs making because all of the tropes in the media, in the series, in the TV led to me doing this for my whole ass life. But that's not why we are here, is it? Because that would be a bit pointless to just sit and tell you, hey, there's this great movie idea that will never happen because there's truly no plot. It's just all disappointing endings to one fantasy world. We are here because for about 15 years, give or take, those fantasies have only ever included men. for the past month and a half, they haven't. I have only been imagining women in those fantasies, and I am super confused. Trust me, I have given it as much online presence and searches in terms of like developing on this more, read Wattpad, read pornography, but I am still super confused as to, is this a passing phase? Is this video ever gonna reach the light of day? Am I just gonna leave it behind? Because there is so much at stake. I don't know if you noticed this part, but yeah, I've been married for about 5 years now, and a month or two, give or take. And again, why has this never happened before? This whole possession that it has taken over me, where I can suddenly see myself being with a girl. The way I see it, it's either going to be a passing phase that is not going to seep into my life further than maybe a few months, and you will never ever watch this video because then there's no point of publishing it online. Or this is gonna be one of those situations where everybody, even my TikTok For You page, my family, my great-grandma, everybody who I never introduced a man to before quite literally being engaged, will be knowledgeable about this, will be knowing before I ever did, and before I ever come out. Come out is a weird term, but it is definitely accurate. If you are almost 30 years old and so confused with so much at stake and so many people to hurt, if I can't figure it out myself and make a good decision, what is a good decision in this kind of circumstance? How do you know for sure without fucking it all up? How do you know for sure without deciding that, you know, that is something that is or isn't worth risking your marriage, your whole life ahead for? It's exhausting. It's exhausting because it's in my head for over a month now, and it has definitely seeped into my own life, and I'm just trying to figure it out. And I truly hope that there is no follow-up to this video, because a follow-up to it means that something is developing in that area, that it's not a passing phase, and that I might hurt some people. And I don't want to do that. I don't. But then the lack of follow-up might also mean that I haven't been true to myself for almost 3 decades. And that's again why I don't want there to be a follow-up. I would rather this be a passing phase, think nothing of it, leave it behind. Wow, you were confused, you were bi, whatever, you found girls hot since whenever. Just leave it behind and laugh about this one day, delete it off my feed, not even have it in the private videos, because it meant that I was true to myself for all this time. And that's the part that's killing me. Because it is the part that matters the most to me. If you have ever watched any video that I made, a lot of the comments are like, wow, this is cringe, why do you insert your weird humor, why do you put your personality in them? Because it's who I am, and that's the whole mark and the whole point to my whole life. And then if one day I was to figure out if I'm into girls, if I'm bi, if I'm gay, then it kind of defies everything I've done so far, because why did I waste X amount of years of my life? Why wasn't I true to myself back then? Well, that is depressing, and this video that again might never be published, it might never come out, and great if that happens, because that was a creepy beginning to it. Proof of life, like a fucking literature child. It's like, oh, it's a proof of one life. Shut it, just shut it. But even if this never sees the light of day, hey, Maya from the future, girls are still hot. You can be married and see that, I guess. You could be married to a guy and see that, I guess. Anything else that you want to share with the future Maya? You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. On your own, or maybe with the help of somebody else. We'll figure it out. I need to record now. Oh, God. Well, that's been weighing on me for a while, so hopefully that fixes something. I don't know if it will. Bye to the future Maya and that bitch only, I guess. Every single one of the free flashback videos I will be playing throughout this recording was a hard watch, but out of all of them, 2021 Maya needed a hug the most. Between that video and the next one that we'll watch, I came out to my husband, I slowly started going to lesbian meetups, I went to Madrid, and I shall definitely return. Madrid is probably my favorite city within Europe that I have been to. I found a new place to move into, also my workplace made about like thousands of people redundant, including me, so it was a time for a fresh start. It was time for a new place to live in, for a new job, for a completely new life. In creating a script for this video, I found out that a couple of days before I moved into this place, I met up with my uni prof, which was a very wholesome thing. Like, it was my favorite uni professor of all times, like an icon, a fashion icon, a genius fucking icon of a woman. But also, one of the last shops that I have done at a local co-op included me recording this woman trying to smuggle a cat in. Like, this cat was so needy. It was one of the neediest cats I have ever seen. It has worse anxious attachment issues than me. And I was bad. Look at it. Just enjoy this cute video of an owner smuggling a cat into a co-op in a jacket, thinking it's going to be inconspicuous, and the cat was making all the sounds. The cat was like, fucking get me the fuck out of here. I want to be the center of attention. Why did you hide him? Why did you scared? I'm so scared. That wholesome video brings us to June of 2022. And you know how I said that 2021 Maya needed a hug? 2022 me, you know, the present me looking onto the past and feeling like, oh, what did she need? She needed a slap on the fucking face. She needed to be like absolutely fucking destroyed. She needs somebody to put a boxing glove and break this muzzle. Break this. You see this big fucking thing? Just punch it, punch at it. Maybe it would result smaller. If somebody broke my nose, would it become smaller? Feed the illusion, okay? Feed the illusion. Press play. Just press play. Here I was thinking that there will not be a part 2 of this. For somebody that does multi-parters, that isn't me. That one is on me. The day is June the 13th, everybody, and instead of me having a hostage-like situation type message that I had last time, I thought of having a tweet of the day, I guess, and I think Cher's account was hacked. So she said that her mind was invaded by a creature from another galaxy, that they invaded body too. They're denying it, however, in her defense, her phone is on drugs. So either that, or I don't know, maybe she lost it a bit. That is not the moral of the story, it's just for us to commemorate this day in history. I'm about to record this video. Lord of the Flies, the real life Lord of the Flies story. And for some reason I thought it would be appropriate to update myself, I guess, because I will probably be the only one watching these short clips of my coming out story. If there is a part 3, I will not cry in part 3, okay? We got a deal. I will not be crying in part 3. So since I sat here last time, on December the 15th, if I remember right, I came out to quite a few people, including my family, and everything has been great. Everybody has been supportive. It's just been mentally hellish couple of months of just rediscovery, figuring out my life, again having a blank slate of paper in front of me. And for somebody who always likes to be in control, who always likes the constant, the peace, doesn't really enjoy changes as much, it has been a mental fucking hell. But this is the last video, well, that once I calm down, Lord of the Flies, that I will be recording in this flat. I'm finally moving places in the next couple of days, going back to a room, fuck knows what the recording situation is gonna be in that one. And yeah, I just wanted to check in with myself. This is why I don't do vlogs, cause I cry. Cause I cry over anything. This is why. What is your life? And just sit and cry. Who the fuck would watch that? This is why you're the only person who will ever see the light of day of these videos. But something that stung, that really stung and made me sit down for the second time, was how I titled the first video. And how I thought that was appropriate at the time. Because true crime mind, I guess. So I posted it as unlisted on YouTube, and I have never shared that video with anybody yet. And the title was OIID, standing for Open If I Die. And that is not the way to live your fucking life. I don't know if I know anything about it, but that is not the way to live your life. So Maja, from the future, when you watch this meltdown, maybe never, maybe you will never see the light of day of anybody ever. What was the alternative? Just ask yourself, what was the alternative? Going back into the closet, living in a marriage where you don't feel much or anything, you don't feel attracted to the person of the opposite sex. What was the fucking alternative? It had to happen. You're not in control. You will probably not be in control for a long period of time, but you'll be okay. Because you're finally living your true fucking self. You're finally living your truth. And that's all that matters for now. It's all that fucking matters. I'm just gonna stop fucking crying. Record the other video. And move on. There might not be a part 3 of the coming out story, because I'm technically recording it for myself. Just to see where I was at different stages of it. And to then process how I felt at different stages, because especially during the past year and this one, it kind of just felt like I was living through the motions. I wasn't processing anything. I wasn't processing my feelings. I was just trying to put them under the carpet, never think through anything. And of course, what that meant was that it backfired in a way, because I had to think about where I want my life to go. How much longer can I live in a lie? So far, just for the timeline purposes, of course, for somebody who freaking loves to tell a story through timelines in sequential order, it's very important to me. Let me have this amount of control over my life. I came out to my husband last day of the year, so I think I recorded this video mid-December, and yeah, I haven't rewatched it. When I saw how I named it, I just freaked out and I was like, I'm not watching this again at this moment in time. So I came out to him, to a couple of friends that are either bi or gay, and I still am yet to come to half of my family. Really only 2 other people that deserve to know. I'm not really close to so many people in my family, but my mom knows, my brother knows, they're accepting, and they didn't give me the "we knew it," which would have again been such a fucking mistake. Nobody did, which I'm happy about, because if you suspect or know for sure that your friend might be struggling with their sexuality, maybe point them in the right direction, put a seed of doubt into their head, or maybe not. Who am I to tell you shit? I struggled with directions for 29 years. Clearly, I'm not the one to give any sort of advice as of yet. And yeah, ever since then, I've just been coming out to people. But it's been a pretty weird experience because obviously my circumstances are weird. Being married and now having to move, start everything from zero. So that's why it has kind of felt like I'm just going through a list of like, come out to XYZ people, say this, say that, do this action, follow through with this, rather than actually processing everything that's been going on. Hence why we are here for Maja's meltdown. That was my handle on so many social media profiles for a while. No, they could never figure out why. I wonder why. Okay, shut the fuck up. Girl in the back sometimes pops up and she needs to chill. So that's it for now. I don't know if I will record something else prior to my 30th birthday, like if I will ever release any of this and in what way, because it's quite literally just me checking in with myself, you know, for the future Maja, to see it in maybe like a year's time and just laugh her ass off at like myself crying. You're not a psychopath, you wouldn't do that. Like, you're just like laughing at you opening your soul to yourself. Would I? You know what? Actually thinking about it, I'd probably be like, oh god, you're such a disaster. Never let this see the light of day again. But that is it for now. There might or might not be part 3, but Maja from the future, just know, even if there is no part 3, you are gay. And it's all gonna be okay at the end. You will have thousands more of mental breakdowns for your life. Women will destroy you, as you say. But also, pussy is worth living for. So, Maja out. Maja out. I wish that clip ended there, but it doesn't, and I debated long and hard whether or not to play the remainder of that clip, and decided to do it, so let's watch it and then comment on it. Maja out if you are a wuss. If you're not a fucking wuss, if you're finally going to live your full truth, to yourself at least, to the prime target of these videos, you shall publish this other part of it. You met somebody because it was actually your husband who suggested, in your state of mental breakdowns throughout January, for you to join meetup groups and actually join some lesbian groups, chat with other women about their experiences. And you met somebody because you were most comfortable going on different walks with different women in those groups. You found them homely, they were like your safe haven for quite a long period of time, and you were really looking forward to those walks. And you expected nothing to fucking happen, or you were like, if I make friends, that's great, I'm gonna get added into a couple of WhatsApp groups, and that was about it. And then something did happen. And you will process this now, because you haven't been processing it for the whole last month. Month and 6 days, you know, to be precise. Give or take. Since the first non-date with this person, because obviously you're not ready to have anything serious just coming out of your marriage. But boy, does this girl level you, Maja. She makes you feel complete in so many different areas. She feeds so many things that you find to be your core values. And pursue it. Don't give up. Don't give up on this girl. If it doesn't fucking work out in the future, yeah, it will destroy you and you will move on. But don't give up until you're sure that for some reason, whatever reason, it won't work out. You will be a wuss. and you will not post this, especially if things don't work out. But even if they don't, you will not hold grudges, because that's who the fuck you are, I guess. You just stay in relationships when they're peaceful and when you feel good, because you don't fucking like change. And you don't like to cause other people pain. And you don't like to cause other people pain. You don't like to see other people cry. But process this. Just process this. Live through it. If it works out, it works out. And it will be perfection. Because this person might be something that you don't believe in. She might be your soulmate. Or she might not. The time will tell. And patience is not your strong suit. But pursue it. Go after it. Don't fuck it up. Do not fuck this one up, Maya. I'm watching you, Maya from the future. If you fucked it up, just know I'm pissed. I'm pissed off at you. And I will exit this video now. Make myself look like I haven't just cried for about 15 minutes. And then sit back down to record. Oh, happy days. Isn't this how mental breakdowns work in a nutshell? Cold water. A bit of a hookah shower. And then I'll be back. You sound totally hinged. The complete opposite of unhinged. This is great. There shall not be part 3. You were here before. You lied before. I lied before. Here goes nothing. To nobody. Goodbye, ladies and gents. It was nice knowing you know. You will not, that one will not be titled. The part 2, this part there is not going to be titled Open If I Die. Like, imagine, because that means your body is gonna be found at the end of the fucking ravine. Or like, you will be missing and people will be looking for clues. Like, what is the thought process? Name it something happier. I don't know what. Coming out part 2. You came out to people. Even if they find it, what the fuck is the worst that can happen? Coming out part 2 and rename the part 1. You're exhausting. Living in my head is actually fucking exhausting. Bye now, guys. Bye! I hope you didn't get too attached, because newsflash, I'm no longer seeing the girl that I mentioned. There were a few giveaways, just in that, like, hard watch of the last bit of that video. One, I would say, is me referring to her as a soulmate, which I don't think is a word I would have used towards even the cutest, like, most wholesome couples that I know. The second bit was definitely me giving myself advice not to fuck this up, as if it just depended on me, because that's how it felt at the time, and it takes 2 people to make something work out. I'm grateful that it happened, because it helped me discover the feelings that I never thought I could have. It helped me see the whole other side of me, but the months after it were my own version of a personal hell. Like, for the first time ever, I could, to a degree, may I emphasize to a degree, understand certain people that I covered on this channel. People who choose violence or choose to commit acts of murder instead of, like, separation or instead of a divorce. And let me explain, okay? The person is still very much alive, because there's quite a few factors that differentiate people like you and me from, like, Chris Wattses of this world. For the first time in my life, I felt I don't want to be breathing the same air as this person. I was so uncomfortable knowing they're in the same country, they're in the same city, that they can have access to me at any point, regardless of what I do. There's only limited amount of things that I can personally do, and that person might still be there. I might still see them at some point. But as I mentioned, there's quite a few factors between people who choose violence and people like you and me. And I feel the number one is getting yourself out of a situation. Because once you don't let yourself being carried away by your emotions, you don't act like a 2-year-old, you see it from a third perspective, and you see that you hate the situation, you don't hate the person. Your feelings can still be valid, you were incompatible, you couldn't make it work out, and the person can still very much be alive and be dead to you. Even if you're in your emotions, you're experiencing self-hate, and you feel like what is happening to you is happening for a reason. You deserve it. For example, I wholeheartedly believe this whole year of emotional turmoil was my karma for how I treated my husband, for all of the times that I cared less, that I felt less, I couldn't reciprocate the same feelings that somebody else has had. And if you're in the same boat, if you feel like this person is your karma, then you should know very well that they're going to get theirs. So tell them whatever they need to hear for them to depart from your life. Just embark on this boat journey and go in one direction. It's like a single ticket. I forgive you. I wish you all the best. Say it to your full chest. Your full chest. They gotta believe it. Lie. Lie. If you ever hear me say, I wish you the best, just know I'm doing it so that you skedaddle out of my life. I wish you exactly what you deserve. What do you mean I wish you the best? What do you mean? If you gave me years of joy, I wish you a lifetime of it. If you gave me your misery, I wish you 10 times that. But I will tell you whatever you need to hear for me to have my peace and hate. My advice to you would be to do the same instead of choosing violence. But now, in the timeline of the videos that I am playing, I'm still very much in this mess, still in the midst of this emotional turmoil. And between June and December 2022, the third video that I will play being a one-year reflection, I did a ton of things. And the ones that I'm willing to share, considering my family might be watching, I went to my first Pride in London, to Euro Pride in Belgrade, completely different atmosphere. Let's just say that, like, the Euro Pride in Belgrade, I'm glad it happened. I'm genuinely so glad it happened. Like, it's my home country, for the first Euro Pride to happen there. I don't know the reasoning behind it, but I'm glad it happened. It felt more like a protest, and that in itself is important, but it was eerie, to say the least. I worked for a French company at the time, so I traveled to France a couple of times and actually got to see a different side to Paris. I had a proper Paris syndrome, I think it's what's called, when I first went to Paris, and then had changed my opinion once I went there a couple of times and actually lowered my expectations. Just low. That is my advice. Just have your expectations at a zero when you go to France, and you are going to have a blast. You're going to have an amazing time. I got to have a do-over of another city. This time it was Edinburgh, the place where I went for my honeymoon years ago. I also went to Amsterdam for my 30th and got to see Rosalia perform. If you ever get a chance, hands down, this is a religious experience. The only other thing I can compare this to is if you're going to a Taylor Swift concert or Swiftogeddon for the first time. Let me just play you the video. The first time when I was losing it at Swiftogeddon, like, genuinely, it's like, it will never be like the very first time that you go there. Now, I will play you the snippet from Rosalia concert, and editor Maja, I need to find a video where she seamlessly transitions between like 3 songs like it's nothing. This is the hands down, the religious experience, the best concert I have ever been to. Like, men just show up on stage and they're just sweaty. They're just not, like, they just show up and they're like, yeah, this is enough, performing is enough. Women are there like super fucking humans, like goddesses. It's a whole ass documentary happening on stage for you. For, well, not free, but however much you pay for the ticket. As it should be. As it fucking should be. Just press play. Just cleanse this video. Well, the bad vibes. Cleanse it right now. Rosalia left us on a high note, and I'm about to bring this story right downhill because December 2022 comes around and I was an emotional wreck. There were quite a few factors that played into it. One being that I still, at this point, didn't come out to my dad. I only came out to him at some point this year, 2023. My great grandma still to this day does not know anything, which I call her fortnightly, and every single time I get reminded that I'm living in a lie because she asks me, how's my husband? What is he up to? Is he in the office? I'm like, oh, I'm Hannah Montanaing this shit, that's great. Also, due to the nature of the relationship that I had with this girl, I felt like I can't be out publicly like that, and all of that led to, a year after coming out, after changing my life completely, me feeling like I was putting myself back in the closet, like none of it was still real. And I had had low points in my life up until this one, but this is the lowest that I have ever been. And before I played this video at the end of last year, I wouldn't actually even say that I needed a hug, even though this might be probably the most depressing out of the three that I have played. I needed an awakening, like I needed somebody to shake me out of the state that I have been in, and we'll talk exactly how that happened after I play this. Guess what? I have told myself 10 minutes ago that this video is not going to have tears. Yeah, it's going to be the one where I'm going to be like super fucking happy, thrilled to be here, and then guess what happened right after that, like seconds after that? I started crying. Yeah, you can see it, you can see it. You can see it. So, it's been a year, guys. It's been a year. It has been almost a year since I last sat in front of a camera, super confused, thinking I'm going to hurt some people. And since then, I have hurt some people, and I have hurt myself a lot. So, today is December the 10th, 2022, and Cher had tweeted, "Some people have nothing to do but go online, bitch, moan, hate, and fall into minutiae hole. Look it up." I have looked it up. I didn't go into like a deep dive on this, but I think it has to do with the fingerprints and the ridges around the fingerprints. Listen, I have no idea. And I swear I have used Cher's tweet in the past video as well. Twitter had gone downhill as well as my mental health since last year, so same as I guess. BFFs, LOML. Why do people shorten something like love of my life? Like, it will never make sense to me. This is not why you're here. So why are you here? Because you don't replay the other two videos. Why are you here? To reflect on almost a year since coming out? I am here to record the last video of the year, and then I have thought of doing this confessional thing that is Big Brother-like and nobody will ever fucking see it, except for maybe you replaying it one day. So in that light, I wanted to do something different. To sort of give advice to like my younger self, like my year younger self, the 29-year-old Maja, in this stage of confusion that I truly think I was last year when I recorded this in December, the first one. And then sort of to give some sort of advice, hope, to like the future Maja. So let's do that. Let's have a bit of a tearful moment and then speak up so that maybe the future Maja understands this. So what would you say to the Maja that was sitting in front of a camera a year ago, crying her eyes out as well, because of a different reason? How would you describe this past year to yourself? Hellish, emotional, definitely draining, sleep deprivation happened, a lot of that.
A lot of good moments as well happened. A lot of acceptance when it comes to like the community. So that's a good thing. So something that I would have told a younger version of me is it's going to get worse before it gets even a tiny bit better, even a little better. It's going to get a lot worse. And you'll just deal with it because you're stronger than you think you are. And you'll just go through with it, deal with it, cope with it, and hope that you come out the other end stronger and happier. That was depressing as fuck. Like, imagine you're coming out self listening to this, Maja, being like, it's gonna get shit. Like, it's gonna be really fucking shit for a really long time, and you still don't really feel happy, okay? But, like, it might get better one day. Blow my nose. Such a special case. As for the advice to your future self, not really advice, but I truly hope you're happier, that you're more confident, and that you follow your own set of rules, something that you have told yourself on repeat, not to settle for bare minimum, not to settle for, differences in love language, for people who don't care about you as much as you can care about them. Just not to settle. You're enjoying your independence. You have always liked it. You have always been really good on your own. So if that is what ends up happening in the end, that is what ends up happening in the end. Have your own fucking place, live your best, I don't know, alone life, single life, I don't know, and see how other people fit into it. And yeah, look for what feeds your soul, what has always fed your soul, like the deep connections with people, whether it's friends or whether it is partners, and just stick to what is important to you, stick to what matters. That is something, yes, that I would like to tell myself if I were to ever rewatch this a year from now, 5 years from now, that I would like to watch it and be like, okay, bitch, you listen to yourself. Like, you accomplished all these things. Or like, you're happy as you are. You're finally happy. That would be fucking nice. That would be really nice, because this year was a kick in the balls. It was a kick in the balls. We had really happy moments. Some of the happiest, some of the most Maya moments of my life. I felt more seen, more accepted, more like myself than I probably ever have, which is logical. I was in a fucking closet, and the closet was made out of glass. But also, I have had some of the most nerve-wracking, exhausting, emotionally damaging moments I have ever had, and I have also felt the most unwanted, the most useless, just the most opposite of confident, just the most opposite of everything that I have just said that I would like myself to be one day. So, yeah, let's just begin on a depressing note and end on an even lower note. Let's go, let's go, this is it. This is it. So, Maja, in 2023, I don't know if you'll continue making these, I don't know if you will ever watch these again, but at least you're not naming these videos Open If I Die or something bizarre like you fucking did when you made the first one and put it as a private video on this channel. So hey, progress, small steps. Just move on in that direction, tiny little steps, one step at a time, and you will get there. You will fucking get there. Because you're relentless little shit. You will not stop until you get there. That's something that I know about you. Because you're sitting here continuing to record these videos, well, not these videos, but like other videos for your channel every single week. Regardless of the growth, regardless of what people say, regardless of the comments, you are fucking relentless when you like something, when you are yourself. So, you will not stop until you're happy, until you're content with yourself. I feel like my nose is running. That is really charming on camera. That is really great content. So I will now go and try to make myself look like I haven't cried for the past like half hour, and then sit to record the last video of the year. And we shall never speak about this again, because there will never be another reflection part there. Nice talking to you. Thanks, dear diary. I shut you, I close you, and we move the fuck on. We move the fuck on until we are satisfied with our life, we are content, we are happy, and we are at peace but happy. Not at peace but settled. Cool. Go. Sickness makes complete sense to everybody. Doesn't have to make complete sense to everybody because it makes sense to you. Maja out. See yourself in about 10 minutes time when I stop looking like I have just cried. Bye now, bye Maja, dear diary, speak soon, or whatever other people say when they actually put a diary entry in. Something I haven't done since my Gossip Girl days, teenage days. Well, lies. Here. Bye now, bye! We made it to the other side. After 2 years of ups and downs, many downs, many downs, very few ups, you start feeling more and more like yourself. After immersing yourself in the events that you actually want to go to, after ridding yourself of the toxic situations you put yourself into, and taking that burden off, you eventually feel lighter. And in the words of Doja Cat, it'll take a whole lot for me to settle.
Oh, that get to my head. I don't care, I paint the town red. She the devil, she a bad little bitch, she a rebel. She put her foot to the pedal. It'll take a whole lot for me to settle.
Since that video, I had to have a difficult sit-down moment with myself, during which I pretty much had a conversation in my head, telling myself I can't go on feeling like this. Something had to be done. I started organizing queer meetups myself. I went to the gayest performance ever, the one of Carly Rae Jepsen. Let's play some of that. Carly, I fucking love this woman so much. Don't even fight me on this. This was the gayest performance I have been to since Pride. There was not a single straight person in that room. I also went to my first lesbian wedding, speaking of gay things, and I completely lost my mind because I witnessed history. Same-sex marriages in the UK have been legal for less than a decade. It was history. I had the best time at Pride. I dog-sat a bunch for the wives, had very wholesome meetups with my long-term friends, and I saw Sabrina Carpenter perform. I have this ongoing beef with my close friend about Sabrina Carpenter. We both call her our wife, right? And in our Delulu land, because Delulu is what? The Sululu, right? In our delusions, Sabrina Carpenter, who is very publicly straight, would give one of us a chance if we fight to death, logically, so you can't defeat the what? The logic. Okay, so in these delusions, me and my close friend are fighting to death, and she says, I am going to lose that fight because I'm weak, she's stronger than me. I did not for a second fight that. I'm like the goddess, Sabrina Carpenter, everything for you. No. I did not counteract that by saying I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm going to get hench, everything for Sabrina. No, I immediately give up. I was like, hey, the caveat though, the caveat is if I die, I wanna die by being waterboarded the last time. You see what I did there? See what I did there? Also, when I say the last time, I mean like the last time in my life, not like my friend. Imagine all of my friends just be like, hey Maya, I need a chair today, can I sit on your face? Heaven. Heaven. Truly, why isn't that happening? Some people are just probably living better lives than me. I will never see heaven. Let's just cleanse this video by playing the clip from the Sabrina Carpenter concert that I have just mentioned. Oh my god, it's how I want to die, okay? It's how I want to go.
Understand how quickly we get right back in our rhythm without missing a step. And logically, the last thing I should have on my mind, but I want you there sometimes. I guess maybe that's why. Lying to my therapist, I keep saying things like I never saw you, and we never kissed. And I think somehow in my mind, if I didn't exist, it doesn't seem to maybe it doesn't exist. I think it's only every time I say a word that sound like an extra. Lying to my therapist.
I saw my grandma this year, she's still kicking it, she's 90ish, turned 90 in August. I climbed the O2, I went to a straight people wedding, sorry Caroline, I love you. I applied to many other jobs because another company that I worked for had made me and my team redundant, and I went to Agatha Christie Festival, to which now I want to return next year, hopefully to volunteer and get free shirts and freebies and be there for free. And those are just some of the highlights. Back in our timeline, after we did number 3 that I have played from my flashbacks, with me having that hard discussion in my head, I knew I was not happy with my personal or professional life. I knew I needed an exit strategy, and luckily, I say that in context, the company I worked for made my whole team redundant, including me, sort of pushing me to actually look for a job that I would want to do. I was single, I could start fresh on so many fronts. I had a chance of a do-over once again, and I wanted to do things my own way. This time around, if I were to post an unlisted video naming it Open If I Die, I wanted for it to show me smiling and not crying 10 minutes gay. And I thought a lot about this channel when I had that sit down with myself, because this channel had been my rock through the years. Whenever I needed it, I could turn to it to research, to edit and record another deep dive. And I loved every second of it, but I have to admit that I was relying on it. I was relying on this channel to feel something. And it was time to find my pebbles and stones, to find other things that fulfill me, that I'm interested in, that I can turn to, where I don't rely on a single thing to feel something. So I made a plan, an exit strategy of sorts. I asked all of my friends, so about like 5 people, what their 5 to 9s looked like.
Mags, girls, all of the girls are here, baby. Okay, yes, I like the Kanye and Rihanna song. No, that's not, who sings All of the Lights? All of the Lights. Kanye and Rihanna, yeah, I was right. Totally unrelated to what the fuck I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask you for, let me just cough, not die. A week in a life. Megs, give me a day in a life of Ray, okay? Well, I'm basically like sending this voice note to like, you know, like doing a poll among my friends, among the people that are similar to me, that like aren't like super social, right? But like, you know, also don't like hate people. Yeah, you get it. We live with the same person, you get it. Okay, so I am wondering, what do you do basically? Like, obviously, yes, you have work, and then like, what is your 5 to 9? Give me like kind of how that looks like week on week. And what fulfills you? Like, what shit do you do that actually fulfills you? I am actually going to write up a list of like shit that people say that like resonates with me. She's like, oh, cool, yeah, that, cool, that can be me. I see myself doing that, and then like experiment with things. Because I was thinking, it's like this stems from like complete banana. But like, if I'm to get a job that like is in any way cerebral, right, or like that I like in any way, where I will need my brains, and like also will want to like pursue a career in that, you get what I mean. I kind of would probably need to like drop YouTube and like research and what I do in general, mostly most days, really Monday to Friday between like 5 and 9. So Jesus, I just burped. For me to do that, I kind of need to think, what the fuck, who am I? What will fulfill me between 5 and 9 p.m. so that I don't get into a downer. Because that's the part that I remember before COVID, when I used to do full-time, and then after work, I would do like, I would still, you know, either socialize or go to the gym, or like go to yoga, or still read, or like, listen to audiobooks, like all of that, like podcast content, like all of that shit. But I realized like I got really, really like depressed with that life because I did not like the job. Yes, that part. So like obviously that was like, ugh. And I think partially it was also because I had to go into the office. So I was like seeing people, you know, like when people are literally like in your face the whole day. And as we both know, we don't like that part. We don't fucking like it. So I feel like, okay, if it was hybrid or now like fully remote, like maybe it would be different. But I'm thinking, would it be different? So I kind of have to have like a plan. It's like the exit strategy from burnout, or just doing everything like like just the whole day avoiding free time. I have to have the exit strategy that, otherwise I will crumble. So I'm doing a poll among my friends. Okay, Carlos. So tell me what would fulfills you that you do between like 5 and 9. Cool, cool, cool. Tell me that, and I will note it down as if you were like, I don't know, cult leader, and I'm following your steps, and then I'll be like, okay, this works, this I can do, this might actually fulfill me, this might not, this is what I will need to balance from. Yeah, totally not having like an anxiety at thinking of like not doing something from like dusk to dawn. Anyways, bye, sending hugs, bye.
What do they get up to after work? And then I thought, where do I fit in? Is there anything that these fuckers do that I can take, and what plans I see myself having? I pre-recorded some videos while testing it out so I don't crumble having other hobbies and not relying on the channel to pull me through. And I created short-term goals, including progression for my 9 to 5, including forming deep connections with more friends and more queer people, and sort of like becoming an even more integrated member of the community. And also, and I'm putting this out there because I want to be held accountable, I want to publish a book. I really want to write one. That's kind of the first step, before somebody editing it and then me publishing it. But I really want to do it, okay? I have no idea how long it's going to take me, but again, just check my Google Drive if anything happens to me and hold me accountable for it. And it will be on coming out. Like, that's how I plan to do it. I don't know if I'm going to do it in a memoir style or like a fictional way. I haven't like thought that much of it yet. Once I'm done with pre-recording all of the videos, that's when I'm going to like start actually drafting it and writing it. But I definitely know it will be about the coming out story, because now since I came out and have read multiple stories, I haven't identified myself in any of them, and that's because everybody's experience is different and we need representation in any way, shape or form. So if you are out and you don't see yourself, or like you don't feel heard in any of the stories that you have read, write your own. Whether it is that you came out late in life like me, or have, you know, lived in a countries where it's very much illegal to be out and have moved abroad, I would say like representation matters, and we need representation for every single one of us. But with this plan and the pre-recording schedule, all of the pebbles slowly starting to come together to form a beach. You would say a pebbly beach is the worst. Pebbly beach. A pebbly, stony beach is the worst kind of beach, and I would like to dispute that. Because there was this beach from my childhood, okay? It's called Ploče in Montenegro, which is where my dad is from. Ploče means just like rock panels or plates. I used to hate going on holidays with my parents because it would always be the same thing. Going to the mountains to visit the grandma and then going to the exact same resorts. And then one day, for whatever fucking reason, they decided to blow my mind, to spice things up. This did something to my brain because they parked up and they opened the door and I just saw this beach made out of plates. So in the name of one of the dearest childhood memories of mine, I'm off to create my own rock panel beach. One thing that hasn't changed in the past 2 years is that I still want to feel like I've been true to myself if I ever decide to look back on any part of my life. Now comes the hardest part, because if you have been with me on this journey since 2020 for true crime content or any content, if you have watched all of the videos, or if this is the first one that you have watched and you're stuck with me till the very end, it was an honor. Without even knowing it, you have helped in a massive way, and I will never take that for granted. But for now, or forever, maybe for the last time, Maja out. Maja out. As part of a special police force, you form a detective unit. You're Olivia Bensoning the shit out of this case. You hacked into somebody's YouTube channel. You find their unlisted video. It's titled, "Open If I Die." Your heart is beating in your chest. You're like, I'm going to press play. And this person had left me the clues to resolve this mystery. You press play, and this is what hits you. Okay, entertain it. Pretend like you just pretend it. Put yourself in a role. You press play. Say green, green grass, blue, blue sky. You better throw a party on the day that I die. Say green, green grass, blue, blue sky. You better throw a party on the day that I die. You better celebrate. You better. Yeah. Throw a party. Yeah. On the day. That was the publishment book. Thank you. Thank you.
Make it out alive. Load it up when the sun comes down. Getaway car for two young lovers. Me and the girl straight out of town. Over the hills and undercover, undercover, undercover. She said, green, green grass, blue, blue sky. You better throw a party on the day that I die.
Say green, green grass, blue, blue sky. You better throw a party on the day that I die. She said, better throw a party on the day that I die.